Unmute. There you go. There's always something I mess up doing it this way. Welcome back, everybody, tonight to the Pigsty. Tonight, as always, on a Thursday, we are going to do a little history of with Richard. And as always, Series 3, this one is the Epic of Gilgamesh. So, we are going to move on with that. Richard, if you want to just shout and say hello to your... Well, let everybody know who you are.
Peace and respect to you all. I'm the weirdest theist you ever met. But before we get into that, I have to admit to everyone, all of these, my friends and family, that I'm an idiot. And that I totally said I would be on Dave's Critical Questions this morning. And I'm sitting there going, what is it? I know there's something I'm supposed to be doing right now. Couldn't remember, so I went to sleep. Just a complete idiot. And to being mindful, I owe an apology because she worked really hard to set that up and confirmed it. And she vouched for me. And I'm an idiot. So that's basically what you have. I love you all. I'm sorry I'm stupid. So there you go.
That should be the start of every Thursday. It's like, hello, welcome to this. Richard, what have you to apologize for this week?
Yeah, gosh. You know, the best laid plans of mice and men, and it doesn't always work out. And my brain is definitely one of those mice brain. So there you go.
Well, at least you admit your mistakes.
Oh, I'm more than willing to admit I'm getting used to it. I'm 52 now, so I'm kind of used to being like this. It's inconvenient for a lot of people in my direct vicinity.
Yeah, well, we can all vouch for that. So, what we will do is we will bounce straight in. I think we just started Tablet 3, wasn't it? Yeah, we just started Tablet 3. Do you want to start at the start here?
Yeah, I guess a little bit of a review wouldn't kill anybody, right?
Yeah, well, we're at the start. We're so close to Tablet 3. So, other than that, I just want to say hello to everybody in the chat. We've got Wooly and Paul and Dave, and of course, we've got Mama and Sarah. And, we got IQs here today as well. So, brilliant. Thanks all for coming. And, yeah, Richard, I will hand over to you.
All right, Tablet 3, and for those who haven't been watching this show on a regular basis, when there's damage to the tablet, they'll put 3 dots in a row there at the end of the part that was there, and that's read as just an extra long pause because we simply don't know what was there. The elders spoke to Gilgamesh, saying, Gilgamesh, do not put your trust in just your vast strength, but keep a sharp eye out. Make each blow strike and mark. The one who goes on ahead saves the comrade. The one who knows the route protects his friend. Let Enkidu go ahead of you. He knows the road to the cedar forest. He has seen fighting and experienced battle. Enkidu will protect the friend, will keep the comrade safe. Let his body urge him back to the wives. In our assembly, we have entrusted the king to you, Enkidu. And on return, you must entrust the king back to us. Gilgamesh spoke to Enkidu, saying, come on, my friend. Let us go to Egilma Temple, the Ninsun, the great queen. Ninsun is wise, all-knowing. She will put the advisable path at our feet. Taking each other by the hand, Gilgamesh and Enkidu walked to Egilma,
yeah.
The great palace, to Ninsun, the great queen. Of course, I'm going to say that every time there's a reference to a bride, it's going to be the people of the earth in the overall view.
So a bride is always going to be the people of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the flood is the people of the earth.
Yes. Depends on which story you're talking about, yeah.
So we're going to change it from the... Okay, right. Fine. Okay.
No, it's not It's not changing. It's just we're referred to many times in many ways. It's not really a change. Taking each other to the hand, and Gilgamesh arose and went to her. Ninsun, even though I am extraordinarily strong, I must now travel a long way to where Humbaba is.
Did we not kill Humbaba?
What's that?
Did we not kill him last week?
No, they were talking about a vision where they kill Humbaba.
That's what it was. Sorry, yes.
Yeah. So it hasn't actually happened yet.
I know, I'm reading this going...
drawn out or anything.
We've done this. Is this going to be another one that repeats?
No, actually, they're all going to repeat.
Yeah, I know,
a lot.
Yeah.
on the lighter side of the repetition, it's my reasoning that if there's enough repetition throughout the world, then you can't change any of it because it'd be obvious in other stories.
Yeah.
Where were we? Travel road, do not know. Until the time that I go and return, until I reach the cedar forest, and I will kill Humbaba the Terrible and eradicate from the land something baneful that Shamash hates. Intercede with Shamash on my behalf. If I kill Humbaba and cut his cedar, let there be rejoicing all over the land, and I will erect a monument to the victory before you. The words of Gilgamesh, her son, grieving, Queen Nin's son heard over and over. Yeah, you've heard it over and over too. Like she's complaining or something.
Yeah.
How many times have we been through this? Heard over and over. Nin's son went unto her living quarters. She washed herself with purity plant. She donned a robe worthy of her body. She donned jewels worthy of her chest. She donned her sash and put on her crown. She sprinkled water from a bowl onto the ground. And went up to the roof. She went up to the roof and set incense in front of Shamash. She offered fragrant cuttings and raised her arms to Shamash. Why have you imposed, nay, inflicted, a restless heart on my son Gilgamesh? Now you have touched him so that he wants to travel a long way to where Humbaba is. He will face fighting such as he has not known and will travel on a road that he does not know until he goes away and returns, until he reaches the cedar forest, until he kills Humbaba the Terrible and eradicates from the land something baneful that you hate.
Richard, we have people in chat saying that we got the tablet 4. Did I not highlight it?
You did highlight where we stopped, where we just started again. This is the same window that we had open last, is it not?
But I reopened it and I hear this and I think I heard it before, and we have 2 people in the chat going, you got the tablet 4 last time.
Well, I cannot say where it's repetitive and where it's not. Let's scan through what we were just reading and ensure that there's nothing interesting or new, and then we could move on to 4. They could absolutely be right. 11 lines are missing.
60 lines are missing.
60 lines, that sounds familiar. Yep,
there you go. Happy enough. Okay. Apologies.
I don't know how the yellow highlighted area got moved.
I have no idea. I must have highlighted the wrong thing. We were scanning up and forth. I don't know. It's not as well laid out as the other one.
Those darn faulted humans.
Damn fucking Sumerians or whatever they are. Okay, tablet 4. There you go. Right, we'll highlight. We were here.
Okay, you guys in the side chat passed that test with flying colors.
Yes, that was a test.
Good job.
Test. We were testing you. Yep.
Obviously, you're paying attention very well, and that was just a test and nothing more. Okay, moving on then. So where are we actually at in 4? Was it just starting out 4?
No, I'm looking to see because we killed Hamash. 30 leagues stopped for food, 20 leagues stopped for food.
Oh my gosh, all this? How did we end up there?
They stood at the 4. That must have been like last week, man. I bet you if we scroll down, there'll be another yellow.
Got another highlighted area. Yeah, we've been through all this.
Held ahead of Humbaba, yes.
And the raft, yeah, I remember the raft. Oh my gosh.
There's the yellow one.
Hey, look, a highlighted area.
There's the highlighted area where we must have been.
Amazing. How'd that get there?
Oh, right, yeah. So, he's collected a lot of great... Thank you. You've all passed the test. Flying colours. Flying colours. Hello, Blue Tiado, for turning up. Thanks for coming. And Jonah. Thank you very much, Jonah, for the help. Yeah, so that was a waste of the first 15 minutes. Starting again.
So welcome to this Thursday's edition of A History of.
And yeah, in case anyone didn't catch, Humbaba is dead.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Well, now that we're all caught up.
I thought it was just being repetitive again.
I knew
Oh
it
my
wasn't a drink.
gosh.
Anyway, we'll jump in. Right, I have collected. Go on ahead, Richard.
Yes, right. We'll just act like everything's fine. I have collected grain for the people. I have made grasses grow for the animals. When Anu heard her words, he placed the nose rope of the bull of heaven in her hand. Ishtar led the bull of heaven down to the earth. Yeah, this is the right part. I remember now.
Yep.
When it reached Uruk, it climbed down to the Euphrates. At the snort of the bull of heaven, a huge pit opened up, and 100 young men of Uruk fell in. At his second snort, a huge pit opened up, and 200 young men of Uruk fell in. At his third snort, a huge pit opened up, and Enkidu fell in up to his waist. Then Enkidu jumped out and seized the bull of heaven by its horns. The bull spewed his spittle in front of him. Now this part's new. With his thick tail, he flung his dung behind him. That's disgusting. Enkidu addressed Gilgamesh, saying, "My friend, we can be bold. How shall we respond? My friend, I saw, and my strength. I will rip out. I and you, we must share. I shall grasp the bull. I will fill my hands in front." Oh my gosh.
I know it really
Between the nape, the horns, and thrust your sword. Enkidu stalked and hunted down the bull of heaven. He grasped it by the thick of its tail and held onto it with both hands, while Gilgamesh, like an expert butcher, boldly and surely approached the bull of heaven between the nape and the horns, and he thrust his sword. After they killed the bull of heaven, they ripped out its heart and presented it to Shamash. They withdrew, bowing down humbly to Shamash. Then the brothers sat down together. Ishtar went up to the top of the wall of Uruk haven, cast herself into the pose of mourning, and hurled her woeful curse. Woe unto Gilgamesh, who slandered me and killed the bull of heaven.
Right, I'm going to stop you there. Right?
Okay, stopped.
We've got from the bull arrived to the bull being dead.
Yes.
And your representation of the bull is...
Well, let's see. If Humbaba is the beast of Satan, then the bull would have to be Satan. Near as I can tell.
Right. Right.
It's the greater power. It's the thing that's supposed to be unkillable. It's definitely going to do them in. All that sort of.
But didn't.
Hoopla.
So it's the devil.
Yeah. Well, the devil does lose in the story, you know.
Yeah. So the devil is the bull.
That's what I would think.
And who is the one that was guarding the guarding hell? The beast of hell, or what was that?
You mean the bull? Obviously, you don't mean the bull. You mean Humbaba?
Humbaba.
Guarding the cedars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Beast of
Humbaba
Satan.
is...
He'd be the smaller edition of the really evil thing that, you know, is super crazy, powerful, and all that. The beast of Satan.
Okay. Right.
To the American people, to the European descent people, I think.
Okay. When Enkidu heard, there you are. Yeah.
Yes. When Enkidu heard this pronouncement of Ishtar, he wrenched off the bull's hindquarter and flung it in. How can he just pull it off? Why not pull off the head too?
Because he's giant.
If I could only... What's that?
Because he's giant.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's giant.
You know, he is...
I guess once it's relaxed, it's easier to just tear something apart.
And Gilgamesh is huge. He has the strength of the gods, the beauty of the gods, you know. As you say, he's Jesus too. He's the old
Yeah,
Jesus.
he has amazing triceps. Yeah.
Yeah, built like Thor.
Right on.
Right, moving on.
Who is it that killed? Never mind, that's another story. Pronouncement Ishtar in front of her face. I would drape his innards over your arms. Ishtar assembled the cultic women of lovely locks, joy, girls, and harlots, and set them to mourning over the hind quarter of the bull. That's weird.
Yeah.
Gilgamesh summoned all the artisans and craftsmen. All the artisans admired the thickness of its horns, each fashioned from 30 minas of lapis lazuli, 2 fingers thick in their casing. 6 vats of oil, the contents of the 2. He gave as ointment to his personal god Lugalbanda. He brought the horns and hung them in the bedroom of the family head, Lugalbanda. Well, it might be Lugalbanda.
Yeah, I would say Lugalbanda.
They washed their hands in the Euphrates and proceeded hand in hand. Or they're just the best of buds, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
I think Europeans look at that as being somewhat homosexual, but there's actually a lot of the world where people, as a sign of friendship and they having each other's attention, hold hands, and it's not a romantic thing at all.
Roman men thought that women were dirty and had sex with more. They only had sex with women to procreate. They had sex with men for fun because they're cleaner. You know,
I've heard of things like that.
It's just different societies and stuff, and I do think that it's implied in this from the story that Enkidu and Gilgamesh, I don't know, boyfriend or whatever, but yeah, I think that's implied. Old Jesus and new Jesus are getting frisky.
Yeah, old Jesus and new Jesus. I think it would be harder to describe. I mean, can you even imagine what that would be like?
No.
To like. No, not the sexual part, but to find out that a stranger was your father and your mentor and your guide and just meant everything to you.
So not only are they going to get frisky, there's incest involved as well.
I'm not certain about that. I'm going to let the story tell itself and just try to put these things together, all these stories.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay, so they're striding through the streets together, frolicking and frisking and holding hands.
And dancing like unicorns.
Yes, they look very happy.
The men of Uruk gathered together, staring at them. Gilgamesh said to the palace retainers, "Who is the bravest of men? Who is the boldest of males? Gilgamesh is the bravest of men, the boldest of males. She at whom we flung the hindquarters of the bull of heaven in anger. Ishtar has no one that pleases her in the street." Gilgamesh held a celebration in his palace. The young men dozed off, sleeping on the couches of the night. Enkidu was sleeping and had a dream. Here we go.
Hey.
He woke up and revealed his dream to his friend.
Right, and now the roles have reversed, and you give the role of Enkidu interpreting the dream earlier a specific role, but I said that they could just be friends talking, and now the roles have reversed. So you're going to get, I would assume...
So instead of Gilgamesh having a dream, now we have Enkidu having a dream. Is that right?
Exactly, yeah.
Right on. Right on. Interesting. My God, why are we great gods in conference? In my dream, Anu and Enlil and Shamash held a council, and Anu spoke to Enlil. Because they killed the bull of heaven and have also slain Humbaba. The one of them who pulled up the cedar of the mountain must die. And Enlil said, "Let Enkidu die, but Gilgamesh must not die." But the sun, god of heaven, replied to valiant Enlil, "Was it not my command that they killed the bull of heaven and Humbaba? Should now innocent Enkidu die?" Then Enlil became angry at Shamash, saying, "It is you who are responsible because you traveled daily with them as their friend." Enkidu was lying sick in front of Gilgamesh. His tears flowed like canals. He said, "Oh, brother, dear brother, why are they absolving me instead of my brother?" Then Enkidu said, "So now must I become a ghost." And that I is a 1.
Mm-hmm.
"To sit with the ghosts of the dead, to see my dear brother nevermore. In the cedar forest where the great gods dwell, I did not kill the cedar." Enkidu addressed Gilgamesh, saying to Gilgamesh, his friend, "Come, friend." The door. Enkidu raised his eyes and spoke to the door as if it were human. What is with the door?
Probably a door to, I don't know, maybe a door to the afterlife, possibly.
That's what I would think. It would have to be something like that.
Well, I'm just pointing out that new Jesus is dying and old Jesus gets to keep his job.
Right. That's the way it has to go. The
Why would it go like that? Does it not every new Jesus and the new Jesus takes over the new planet? And why would the new one be replaced by the old one? The old one was there to start with.
the new one replaced by the old one. I don't know that's exactly right.
Well, at the start you said that Gilgamesh was the older Jesus, and
yes, I believe so.
yeah, and Enkidu was the new Jesus coming in, and now the new Jesus is dying.
That's what I would. Of course, he has to die.
Why the new? It makes no sense. As I explained to you at the time, it makes no sense for a replacement manager to come in and the old manager to then train him up and then shoot the new manager and keep his job. It makes no sense. By definition, the replacement replaces them.
Replacement replaces. No, actually, from what I understand, the replacement doesn't replace. The replacement is just added into the collective effort.
Well, he's fucking dead.
Not really a replacement.
He's not he's dead. He didn't last half as long as the one before him.
Well, he has to die to go to, the great palace of the gods and all that. Because it's not on Earth. You can't say that he stays on Earth and goes to the palace. You see what I'm saying with that?
I'm just pointing out that Gilgamesh, you said, was the old one. And if the old one brings in a replacement, I'm just confused by that, by the new one who's supposed to be, getting all this, taking on the job, as you put it, is confusing me why he has to die.
He always dies. The hero has to die and be brought back into the collective that is the effort. And that means that, but if we could go back in time to tablet -5, we'd find Gilgamesh dying,
But that's in the past, and going by your timeline. So Gilgamesh dies, but then he's still not dead.
Right.
How can you die and not be dead?
It's called resurrection.
So that's the loophole, right?
Yeah, the resurrection is like the big deal. It can't happen.
But the storyline isn't lining up, though, Richard. I understand that Jesus must die, and he does in the Christian story and all that there, but he dies at the end of, the position of this happening in the story does not line up. Gilgamesh is going to go on and continue for another 25 pages and do his thing.
Right.
So the new Jesus story is over now.
So the new Jesus story is over. Well,
he's dead.
I don't really have a problem with that. If it's the old Jesus becomes part of the collective, or was already part of the collective, and the new Jesus becomes part of the collective, then you could say there's no more Enkidu. There's no more Christ. He's now become God. You could say it that way, and maybe this is going to lend to that. Maybe this isn't.
Yeah, but you could say that, and then 5 minutes ago, he's now part of God. He's then going to become a different part of God again on the new planet and be the old Jesus from before because of resurrection. It just the story.
No. He doesn't do the job twice. Nobody does the job twice. That's not at all what I see anywhere.
Okay, well, if nobody does the job twice, you said if we went to tablet -5, we would see Gilgamesh dying. But then when we get to tablet 5...
Right, but he would be called Enkidu. He would just be called Enkidu in that set of tablets that we're talking about his experience.
But he dies. The point I'm saying is, you say in the story, he dies, and then you're saying he can come back because of resurrection, but they don't do the job twice. Resurrection by definition is twice. That's once, then you're resurrected, you come back again. That's twice.
No, that's not. No, that's what I want. There's a new Enkidu every set of tablets, is what I'm trying to say. And the established Enkidu would be called Gilgamesh.
No.
And then when that Enkidu from that set of tablets becomes part of Gilgamesh, and a new set of tablets are written, the last Enkidu would be called Gilgamesh. The next one selected will be called Enkidu.
Okay. Enkidu dies. And then
Right.
and comes back
Yes.
twice. That's 2 times.
It's not the same individual. It's just using the same names.
Richard,
Jesus Christ is
you
not
said
a
Gilgamesh
person.
in this
Jesus-
story. Gilgamesh in this story would be
Yeah.
Enkidu in the story that happened before.
Hold on. Let me process that. Let's see. Gilgamesh in this story is the Enkidu from the story before. Yes.
Right? And in the story before, if it's the same, Enkidu dies.
The story before, the same. What do you say? Why are you saying the same Enkidu dies? No.
Hold on, no.
Fresh Enkidu.
Let me, Richard, Gilgamesh in version 1 that we're reading now was Enkidu in the previous version, according to you, that we can't
he would
see.
be,
Right? In the
Right,
previous version, you say the stories are the same.
Right.
Right. So in the previous story, our version of Gilgamesh, who's now known as Enkidu, dies. But in this version, he's now alive. So he's done it twice.
I don't know what I'm saying poorly. I can't kind of figure that out. Sorry. I don't know what I'm saying poorly. It's straight in my head, but I'm not expressing it well, apparently.
You know you're not, because you can't say that he dies in a previous story but is alive in this one without saying that he's resurrected, and by resurrection, by definition, means a second time round. And you say he has to die. Enkidu always has to die.
Okay.
But then, when the story restarts, he's back alive again, and we now call him Gilgamesh. Even though Enkidu was created from, thrown away and waste, and Gilgamesh is created fresh. Like, they're both created fresh at the start. It's not that Gilgamesh was always around. They're both created at the same time. And if your story matches up, that it has to be Enkidu dies.
I don't know why they're both created at the same time. I don't know where that part came from.
Because we read the story. Gilgamesh was created, the waste was thrown away, the waste turned into Enkidu.
I can certainly see saying it that way. That's works
how we
okay
read
for
it.
me.
That's how we read the story, though.
Yeah.
They were both created at the same time in the story, but you're saying they're not. Gilgamesh is Enkidu from the previous one, but the previous story, Enkidu died. Then he's resurrected, which he has to do. That's twice. Is there anybody in the chat understanding my logic, or am I saying this wrong?
No, your logic is sound. I just think that's a really Christian way to look at it.
How is it a Christian way to look at it? The word resurrection is English. It has nothing to do with Christianity. It's English. The word resurrection...
Don't appeal to when definitions were made. That's not it. We have translation from older words that meant the same things.
I never brought up the Christian viewpoint at all. Not once. I'm trying to understand that if somebody has died and then they come back, that is resurrection. By your own words.
Yeah,
and resurrection, by the definition of it, means somebody has died and then come back.
Right.
So they've had 2 lives.
No. Okay, that singular individual was completely dead and brought completely back to life and fully restored.
So they were
That's
resurrected.
resurrection, right?
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, so you want to say they had 2 lives. I'm okay with that. If that's the way you think of it, that's fine.
If you die and... if you're dead in one story and miraculously without any... Like, there's no explanation in this story to say that Gilgamesh and Enkidu are the same people from a previous story. You're making that leap.
No. It's not the same people. Stop saying that.
You said that Gilgamesh in this story is the Enkidu from the previous story.
Time out.
You did.
Let me just do this. You have this glob up here, and the collective of people doing the work is called God, right? And then every time there will be this sub portion of that interacts with the actual situation that we're talking about, whatever that situation is, like this earth right now, all right? And they are and have been part of that conglomerate, that group.
So God's now the Borg.
No, but I mean, you can say it that way. Okay, so then you have the lead Borg that interacts with the captain of the starship, right?
The lead Borg that interacted with Star Trek actually was the Star Trek captain of the spaceship. Locutus of Borg, but we'll not get into that. Jesus is now Locutus.
So his job is to bring more into the collective Borg. That's his job, right? That's why he goes out and finds others.
No. Just you continue with your story. I was making the fact that you said God is a collective, the Borg is a collective. That's all the only thing I was making.
I was going to use the Borg to explain it.
No, you're going to make it worse.
I'm going to make it worse. Okay, I won't do it.
So you've got it right. You have a collective of what we know, and the collective is God.
So you have this collective set of ideals of flesh human beings working together doing a set of ideals.
So a group of things, a group of beings, physical beings, a group of them.
And all of them would call themselves Jesus Christ.
Individually.
They've all done the job called Jesus Christ.
Right?
They've all done it. Okay?
Okay.
But there's an emissary that comes from that group. He is the youngest portion of God. He's the youngest Jesus Christ who did his job already.
Right?
Okay. And his adoptive son, or literal, we'll go with adoptive. Today I have begotten you. His adoptive son, he picked somebody from the newest earth, the one that's like getting ready to go through end times. He picked somebody for whatever reasons, and he enlightens that person. All right. So you've got a 3-stage thing going on right there. All right. So then the newest one who's on an earth does the job that you know as Jesus Christ. Goes through the whole thing. He plays the part.
So
gets himself killed.
The new one is replacing the old one. Yes, I understand.
Stop saying replace. Added to. It's not replace.
No. He is doing the job.
It's added to. It's not replace.
He is the new Jesus on the new earth.
Right.
So the old Jesus doesn't have to do it anymore.
Not do it anymore. That's the wrong way to think about it.
He's already done it. He's not going to do it again. He did it on his earth. He's finished.
They each do it one time only, just for they save their earth. That's it.
I understand that.
Okay.
And then he has come down and picked a new one to do what he used to do on the old earth on the new one.
Right.
So this guy that's on the earth that has never been part of the collective ever has just been picked is the new Jesus, the fucking replacement.
Not replacement. It's addition to.
He will become an addition to, but at the minute he is just doing the new job. He hasn't become God yet.
Sure.
He's not an addition. Right. Okay. Now, all that story aside, name one of them Gilgamesh and name one of them Enkidu.
Okay, so this is the highest male god.
No, this is a collective. No. This is a collective.
It's a collective, right? Which Gilgamesh is a part of. He's already established, right? And he befriends, teaches, coaches, ends up dead. He teaches the new Enkidu,
right? Which
we could replace with the word Jesus Christ. So he is both part of God and has been Jesus Christ, past tense.
Okay, right. I'm going to stop you right there. 2 minutes ago, you said once they've done their thing, once they don't do it again.
Right.
Enkidu dies, and Gilgamesh in this story then takes on the mantle, and we have another 25 pages of Gilgamesh.
Right.
But you just said that they don't do it again.
But he becomes Gilgamesh. I already said that. Enkidu becomes Gilgamesh.
Richard, you have a hand up, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to fucking turn the camera off because this is definitely necessary for you to fucking understand this. And I'm fucking, right?
Right.
Big collective of God. All these men doing all this stuff, right? Used to be Jesus's, but they've all finished doing their job, so they're all up here now.
Yeah, sure.
One of these guys comes down to Earth, picks a guy.
Yep.
Who's Enkidu? Right?
Yep.
Enkidu's now dead. And the story continues because this fucker who's already done the job is now on Earth and continuing on. He's doing it a second time.
What makes you think he's on Earth doing it?
Why the fuck would the story jump from one planet and then back in
because
time?
Because they went to heaven. The whole people, the whole bride left.
You're taking chunks of the right. This whole story has happened. The first 25 pages has happened in order, and then you're going to have another 25 pages, and you're going to take that and shove it back here.
No, it's either the people in heaven. You're either talking about the people in heaven or the next earth. One of the two.
You're really not understanding this.
That's possible.
Very much so. Group of people. Gilgamesh comes down, teaches Enkidu. Enkidu dead. Gilgamesh still fucking down here. Then the story continues for another 25 pages. Now,
let's find out where it goes.
Now you're going to say that hasn't happened, right, on this one. So that story must be back here in the section.
In a repeating cycle? It's going to look that way.
The story continues from A to B to C. At B, Jesus dies.
Yeah.
B to C, the old Jesus has a story. And you say that that's before A.
He became Gilgamesh. You're not switching the names.
So Enkidu died, and it was actually in the story Gilgamesh that died.
No.
You can't just take the name without swapping this timeline and putting it back here. It's not matching up.
Look, the names aren't names. They're just jobs.
I get that, Richard. I really get that. But this guy has left your collective and come to Earth. Gilgamesh and Enkidu are on Earth together. Right.
That's because it would be end times.
Okay. Enkidu dies. That's the end of end times.
Enkidu dies at... Well, it's very, 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 very close to the end. You could call it the end,
smidgen, right? The next 25...
Like 40 days or something.
The next 25 pages, right? And some of that story is Gilgamesh going to meet somebody to try and get Enkidu back. And you're telling me that this isn't his story. Gilgamesh's story...
We haven't read that part yet. I mean, we're going to have to see. I don't know what that's going to be.
No, but what I mean, Richard, is the timeline's not matching up. You're telling me that when Enkidu dies, he becomes Gilgamesh.
Yes.
Right. The story continues on with Gilgamesh doing a story, doing a thing, having his day, eating his lunch.
Right.
Mourning the person who you say he used to be.
Right.
So this is the second time he's on Earth going through the story. And if it's not, and it's the first time, then this portion of the story goes back over there. Before he dies.
Okay, I think I know what you're saying now.
So you've taken A, B, C, and you've taken B to C and stuck it way back here.
Put C between A and B.
You've shifted the whole thing round. And that's not the way the story goes. You can't just say, oh, well, he's dead. My opinion, my personal, whoever it is I thought was Jesus is now dead. Fuck, what am I going to do? I'll shift the story from here to here.
It makes sense. It makes sense to me that if he changes job positions, he could be the manager. He's no longer the cashier. So he should be called manager then. That makes sense to me. He got a promotion.
He's dead.
Yeah, he was also brought back to life and gets a promotion.
Once he dies, that's the end of end times. Close to the end of end times. He's nothing to do after that. But there's a whole story happening. And you say that Enkidu becomes Gilgamesh. So if he's Gilgamesh, all this stuff has to happen. It's back here. The story's not matching up with the way you want it. So you're taking a chunk and moving it back here. But the story's not like that. Whenever we read this, and it's written in the future tense, and it makes references to what's already happened, you can't tell me that that's what Enkidu did before Enkidu died. It's not the way the story's written.
Let's say that I'm taking C and I'm putting it between A and B, and it doesn't belong there.
No,
let's say that. Okay, fine. If I did that and then I read B, would there be another C following B?
That you're going to take and shift back here. You can't keep doing that.
Why not?
Because the story's not written like that. It's written in the story will make references to its past, which you're going to say is in the future. But the story makes references.
Depends on where you are in the timeline, but
No. The story is going to make references to a person who has already died in the past.
Okay.
And you're going to take that and make it, and it's going to, like, it can't be in the past. If you shift it, it's in the future then. The timeline will not match up.
Okay. I'll have to wait and see. I don't know.
Well, the story is... Okay, we shall continue on then. If I didn't hammer that fucking point home hard enough, I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. Right. Oh, you stupid fucking wooden door, right?
I'm gonna say right now, this is gonna compare to the sepulcher, or also Sheol, or also it's gonna compare to like what are other words for that? Hell in the loosest sense, but not hell like Christian hell, like fire forever and stuff. Just like some kind of transition that ends up in changing the situation. Is very short term. Should be very short term.
Short, long, in between, doesn't matter. If you take C and put it in between A and B, it doesn't fucking belong there.
It does if it's a cycle.
Man, at the end of the day, you could look at, there's infinities between 1 and 2, okay? There's infinities everywhere.
You can always infinitely divide something. That's true. That doesn't mean it's an infinite amount of time between two occurrences.
You can't make fucking timelines jump. You can't put C between A.
What I'm saying is,
we're stuck in this point. We're going to move on. We're moving on.
If I had enough tablets, I should see A, B, C, D, C, E, C, F, C, etc. And it just keep going like that forever. It never stop.
Yes, that's okay, and I can understand that, but you're still swapping the words around of people after they've died. You're still having two Jesuses on the earth at the same time, even though they've already...
Yeah, we already said that.
And then the one dies, and the one that's already done the job before is the one that's left.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, moving on. Timeline, stories don't work like that, man. You can't just fucking stick things wherever you want to make it. Moving on, stupid wooden door. Where's the
stupid wood? Hold on, I need to sip my coffee. I gotta stop laughing. Hold on.
Well, laughing's better than fucking crying. I might cry.
Oh boy, isn't it? I don't know. It depends on what you're crying for.
Because if I don't cry, I'll scream. Moving on to the stupid wooden door.
My stepdaughter, or actually adoptive daughter, I adopted her when she was 6. And she took away the grandkids that grew up on my knee. And I watched them born, And it was beautiful to watch them born. And I cried. And she took them, and I cried. And just last week, she got a hold of me. I could cry.
Well, that's really good, and I hope that moves forward. And
I hope so too.
I really do. Don't mention the aliens for at least a month.
I intend to tell her right away that I'm effectively a monk. I intend to tell her that right away. She's super not religious, but anyway.
Yes. Tell her if she needs any translation, send her my email.
Right on.
I really do hope you're the best for that, man. Really, because having
I really
the family
do too.
around you and having the people that mean so much to you, there's nothing better than having that. Like.
Yeah, true story.
So
hard to get more valuable than that.
Stupid wooden door's not so funny anymore. Moving on.
You stupid wooden door with no ability to understand. Already at 10 leagues, I selected the wood for you, until I saw the towering cedar. Your wood was without compare in my eyes. 72 cubits was your height, 14 cubits your width, 1 cubit your thickness. Your doorpost, pivot, stone, and post cap, I fashioned you, and I carried you to Nippur. Had I known, Odor, that this would be your gratitude, and this your gratitude, I would have taken an axe and chopped you up and lashed your planks in its. I erected and in Uruk they heard. But yet, Odor, I fashioned you and carried you to Nippur. May a king who comes after me reject you. May he remove my name and set his own name there. He threw down. He, Gilgamesh, kept listening to his words and retorted quickly. Gilgamesh listened to the words of Enkidu, his friend, and his tears flowed. Gilgamesh addressed Enkidu, saying, not raying, friend, the gods have given you a mind, broad and, I would think that would be something like wise. Yeah. Though it behooves you to be sensible, you keep uttering improper things. Why, my friend, does your mind utter improper things? The dream is important, but very frightening. Your lips are buzzing like flies. Wow, that's like really shook up. Though there is much fear in the dream is very important. To the living, the gods, leave sorrow. To the living, the dream leaves pain. I will pray and beseech the great gods. I will seek and appeal to your gods. Enlil, the father of the gods. Enlil, the counselor to you. Counselor, you. Yeah. So much missing. I will fashion a statue of you of gold without measure. Do not worry, gold. What Enlil says is not. What he has said cannot go back, cannot. What he has laid down cannot go back, cannot. My friend, of fate goes to mankind. Just as dawn began to glow, Enkidu raised his head and cried out to Shamash. At the first gleam of the sun, his tears poured forth. I appeal to you, O Shamash, on behalf of my precious life, because of that notorious trapper who did not let me attain the same as my friend. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's really weird language. May the trapper not get enough to feed himself. May his profit be slashed and his wages decrease. May be his share before you. May he not enter, but go out of it like vapor. Now, why is the trapper becoming so important from the beginning of the story?
In reference to who Enkidu was?
Yeah. Okay, so the trapper is the reporter. The trapper is the one who gives away the position of Enkidu. After he cursed the trapper to his satisfaction, his heart prompted him to curse the harlot. Come now, harlot, I am going to decree your fate, a fate that will never. Lost my place. Where is it? Vapor, go out of like a vapor, curses satisfaction, prompts heart, harlot. A fate that will never come to an end for eternity. I will curse you with the great curse. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so we've got the temptations of life causing the hero to curse the temptations of life. This looks very much to me like the book of the preacher.
Enkidu saying this. Look, Enkidu raised his head and cried out to Shamash. Yes, Shamash is the great god. I appeal to you on behalf of my precious life because of that notorious trapper who did not let me attain the same as my friend. So this is all being screamed by Enkidu. Enkidu's pissed off.
Yeah, he's comparing himself to Gilgamesh.
Yeah, he's saying, why am I not good enough?
Why am I not good enough? Not necessarily. I mean, I can see reading.
Did not let me attain the same as my friend. Why am I not as good as my friend? Why am I not good enough? You see where I'm going here?
Well, I can see where you're going with it.
Yeah, he's pissed off. He's angry. He's going to get killed. So he's lashing out. He's blaming everybody for not helping him get to where he was. These people did help him. and these people helped him get to the point where he was, but he didn't get to be good enough and didn't get to be as good as Gilgamesh. So he's pissed off and he's dying. He's lashing out and blaming everyone.
I think that's a very actually mainstream and even scholarly way to look at the text. That's the story it's telling. I just don't see it that way. I see this as the wild beast of a man, untamed. Tempted by
Enkidu is Jesus.
Yes.
Right? So not wild man, he's Jesus.
Yes, but he starts out a wild man.
Mm-hmm. But he's no Jesus.
Because Jesus starts out as a wild man.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's probably a whoremonger, might be a drunk, et cetera, et cetera. Who knows? But it's the temptations of life that lead him to being tamed. But then he curses the temptations of life, which to me looks very much like the book of the preacher or Ecclesiastes.
So you're bringing the Christians into it again. That's twice now you've brought up the Christians.
Of course.
Enkidu, according to Jonah, Enkidu is something similar to yours, cursing the people that brought him out of the wilderness. If he had never left the wilderness, he wouldn't have been condemned to death by the gods. If he'd have just left him alone in the wilderness, he wouldn't have been condemned to death by the gods.
Yes, which is a huge compliment and a privilege.
What is?
I mean, you can call it condemned, but if you consider that he knew what was going on, volunteered for the work.
Well, if he knew what was going on and volunteered for the work, then he wouldn't be shouting at the people who give him the CV and told him to go for the job and drove him to the interview. He's cursing all these people. The story's not lining up.
Vanity, everything is vanity. Vanity, vanity. I think that's what this is.
But he volunteered for the job and he now doesn't want the job.
Yeah, that's not, no.
He's cursing all the people. Well, how do you take a curse? A curse
They're not
is a good
people.
Thing. So the people in the story that we have had, the harlot that, had all that with him and all this here that introduced him, that when we were talking about them were given positions in your story, now have no positions in your story.
Okay, is either the trapper or the harlot part of the bride of Gilgamesh?
Well, according to you, the bride is people. I don't...
Right. They're not part of the people is what I'm saying. They are not partakers in the bride. So
everybody in the story, except for Enkidu, Gilgamesh, and the bride of Gilgamesh, is the only people that are people.
The only people that are people. See,
everybody
the
else is just a representation of something.
The higher gods are past Christ who have already done the job. They're part of the hierarchy, and God itself.
It's just not matching up.
Gilgamesh is a person, but he's participating only spiritually, not physically. Enkidu is the only one who's physically interacting with his environment.
Physical. Gilgamesh is very physical in this story. They actually go through great lengths to describe his physical form. So Gilgamesh is physical in this.
Yes, they have physicality. He's not physically participating.
Gilgamesh is the main character in the story. He's physically contributing and partaking in the story.
Yes, I get that. But Humbaba is not like a great pig or something.
You said that Humbaba was a small portion of something evil, where the main Satan, evil, that's the devil, is the bull that's been killed by both Gilgamesh and Enkidu, even though Gilgamesh doesn't have a physical body because he was Enkidu in a previous story, but he's only done it once.
Right.
That makes no sense. None of that, what I just said, makes sense.
Okay. I believe you.
No, it doesn't match up. It doesn't line up. You can't just say these things and say that's the way it is because that's the way it is.
I'm going to have to draw a chart. That's what I'm going to have to do.
It's just going to end up looking like Dragon Ball Z explaining time travel. This is...
Oh, you want to talk about... Let's do Dragon Ball Z next. That's a great religion.
No. My God, no. Right. Moving on. Fucking stupid wooden door. Okay, where were we? We're at the harlot. I skipped away a bit here.
So I think this is going to be his trip to hell and back. Is what I'm thinking this is going to be.
Who's trip
Come
to
now,
hell and
harlot.
back? Who's trip
What?
to hell and back? Gilgamesh is trip to hell.
Jesus and or Enkidu.
No, this is Gilgamesh's trip to hell. If anybody's going on a trip, it's going to be Gilgamesh.
I can see looking at it that way.
I can see me looking at it that way because it says in the fucking story, Gilgamesh takes a trip. So I can say that in the story, it says Gilgamesh took the trip, not Enkidu.
Right.
And then we're back to the same problem, where if you flip them around, then it has to be before he dies, so you're taking...
Not flipping them around, he becomes the new Gilgamesh. Enkidu becomes the new Gilgamesh. It's not flipping it around. It's just a change of job. So the only difference I would see here against the Christian text is the Christian text considers, they keep calling him Jesus even during the death and resurrection. They keep calling him Jesus, but in this story, they've changed his name from Enkidu, and at that point, he becomes Gilgamesh right away. But that's like a point of view difference. That's not really any different to me.
Okay, right. Again, the fucking timeline of the story is not going to match up. You can't just flip it. You can't just say that Enkidu became Gilgamesh and then Gilgamesh actually mourned Enkidu.
Why not?
Because he's mourning himself for dying when he's standing there alive.
Right?
Okay, I just said that you cannot stand there mourning yourself because you're standing there alive, and you said right.
Right.
Do you agree with me?
So he's lamenting his ignorant life and talking about, he's expressing how ignorant he was and how he hadn't become yet. And
he's not expressing any of that. He's missing his friend. He's missing a completely different person.
Well, I'm going to have to see about that. I don't know that yet. I mean, if you read ahead, that's cool. I believe you.
I doubt very much anywhere in the story where Enkidu, blah, 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 blah. Right, moving on. We're at the harlot. Come on, harlot.
Okay. Where are we? I know you. I see you've got come now, harlot. Decree your fate. I will. A fate that will never come to an end for eternity. Oh, so here we have the earth. The harlot would be the earth then. I will curse you with a... I'm glad we finally figured that out. Or I think I figured it out. Or I think it figured out. I will curse you with a great curse. Okay, well, can I ask
a question then? If you figured out that the harlot is the earth, then why did the new Jesus come and rape the earth?
Interesting way to put it, huh?
Oh my goodness. Right, moving on.
Well, he is the Grim Reaper, you know.
What?
The idea of the Grim Reaper comes from a description of the Christ, you know.
So the Grim Reaper is now Jesus as well?
No, the original expression of the Grim Reaper comes from the description of Christ. Yeah. The one who takes the harvest, the one that does the cutting, the one that reaps in death. Yeah, that's right.
So Jesus is the Grim Reaper now?
Well, not all the baggage that comes with Grim Reaper, but yes, always was.
He's a very, very busy man, this Jesus. He mustn't get any time to just sit and watch TV if he's fucking meeting everybody and taking them all up to heaven. Like.
Yeah, busy guy.
Busy guy. Busy guy.
Probably doesn't play much video games.
Moving on! There you go, Mama. There's one for you. She says every time I say moving on, we're going to take a shot.
There you go. Yeah, so I think the harlot here is going to be, and come to think of it, in the book of Revelation, the earth is the harlot. So that's interesting.
So you're making...
Now, harlot,
hold on. So the book of Revelation also has the harlot as the earth.
Yep.
That you have read before this.
Yep.
So there's no influence there whatsoever.
Of course there is.
Okay. I'm not going to say that word.
You don't want people to fall out before the end of the stream, so you can't stay
how
it
long
too
have we
often.
got left before they pass out? Right. We've actually been going an hour.
Oh, okay.
We have been going. Where's the next tablet start?
Let's do 3.
Oh,
We'll just do 3 hours.
Right. We'll maybe go another 20 minutes or so.
Well, let's finish up the harlot just the same, then we'll stop there.
Go for it.
We'll take people calling me crazy and everything, and I'll respond to their accusations. That'd be cool. Okay, so I think the harlot's here. Come now, harlot. I am going to decree your fate, a fate that will never come to an end for eternity. I will curse you with a great curse. May my curses overwhelm you suddenly and in an instant. There you go. The plagues of end times.
What?
May you not be able...
What?
The curses, the plagues of end times.
So
The
my
things that
curses
destroy the-
overwhelm you suddenly in an instant, and you're
Yeah, the things that destroy the earth in 3.5 years. Yeah,
3.5 years is an instant.
sure it is.
In an instant means like, but now it's 3.5. Oh, okay.
Yep. May you not be able to make a household and not be able to love a child of your own. May you not dwell in the of girls. May dregs of beer stain your beautiful lap. May a drunk soil your festal robe with vomit. Ew. The beautiful of the potter. May you never acquire anything of bright alabaster. May shining silver, man's delight, not be cast into your house. May a gateway be where you rake your pleasure. May a crossroad be your home. May a wasteland be your sleeping place. May the shadow of the city will be your place to stand. May the thorns and briars skin your feet. May both the drunk and the dry slap you on the cheek in your city streets. May owls nest in the cracks of your walls. This sounds like a pirate's curse. May no parties take place present. And your filthy lap may be his because of me. While I, blameless, you have against me. When Shamash heard what his mouth had uttered, he suddenly called out to him from the sky, Enkidu, why are you cursing the harlot Shamhat? She who feed you bread fit for a god. She who gave you wine fit for a king, Mother Nature. She who dressed you in the grand garments. And she who allowed you to make beautiful Gilgamesh your comrade. Now Gilgamesh is your beloved brother friend. He will have you lie on a grand couch. He will have you lie on the couch of honor. He will seat you in the seat of ease, the seat at his left. Oh, that's interesting. Here, left is the correct place to be, and right would be wrong. That's interesting. So that the princess of the world kissed your feet.
Just to say, it wouldn't be wrong if it was the other way around.
Oh, it's not wrong either way.
Well, having some... Oh, okay, fine.
It's just a social expression.
I understand what you're trying to say, but what I'm trying to say is that, if you're the person on the right, then the other person's on your left. If you were talking
but
about
if they're left, are they wrong? And in this situation, if they're left, are they right?
Moving on.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Okay. I just think it's interesting that in Judaism or in the ancient Hebrew, the word right meant to not only on the right-hand side and the right hand, but to be correct. And we use it that way.
Are you sure about that? I would love to fucking see a quotation of that the Hebrew...
Oh, I can show it to you. Yeah. If I just take the word right out of the R-I-G-H-T out of the Bible, and we look at the etymology of the word itself, it means everything I just said: to be correct, to be on the right-hand side, to go toward the right. That's also to be righteous.
If somebody reminds me tomorrow, I will tag Dr. Josh and I will ask him.
He'll agree.
Hopefully so.
It's just the way the language works. And then to turn toward the left or to be on the left is to be incorrect in that language. It's completely arbitrary, I think.
It must be a giant coincidence, because if I'm right in saying that, I know that the original Latin right did not mean correct.
Did you say if I'm right in saying that?
No, I says I don't know if you're right, because in the Latin, if I can remember correctly, I know because it came up before this, where right does not mean correct in Latin. They're two different words.
But only if I'm right about it.
The point I'm trying to make is that we originate our language from Latin.
Not all of it. Not even most of it.
Moving on. Right.
No, we take a lot of our sentence structure and colloquial usage and expressions from the ancient Near East, actually. And all the European does that. Now, how that ended up that way, I can't justify it. I'm not a historian.
I would very much like to see the history of that language. Okay. Where are we? She dressed you in garments, brother friend, grand couch.
We get to the so the princes of the world will kiss your feet. You see what I'm saying? So earth is bad. Curse earth, leave it behind. Filthy cup full of nastiness, which was once beautiful, but now it's disgusting. Same story as the book of Revelation. The beautiful woman who rides on the back of the seven-headed beast in garments of scarlet and purple, holding essentially a chalice or a cup, but the cup is beautiful, but it's full of filthiness, all that stuff.
A lot of the words we get are mostly from Latin. Chat has confirmed.
A lot of the words we get are mostly from Latin. Okay. Sure.
Words we get mostly are from Latin. Yeah. I'm not saying they all, and that particular word may not, and I'm not saying that mostly is a fucking percentage or anything like that, but...
No. Well, it's got to be better than 50%, I guess, if it's going to be most.
Okay.
And that could be. Mama Atheist could be completely correct. I'm talking about the way that we use words more than the words themselves, and how we say things expressively instead of literally. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying the Cowboys slaughtered the Steelers. Okay. Nothing wrong with saying that. Just technically that means
can we read the next paragraph?
Can
we read the next paragraph, because
we can.
It's Enkidu. It's Gilgamesh telling everybody to mourn Enkidu.
Right on. He will have the people of Earth going, no, they're not mourning Enkidu. Go back.
Now, Gilgamesh is your beloved friend. Now, this is Shamash speaking to Enkidu. And he is saying, Gilgamesh is your beloved brother and friend. He will have you lie on a ground couch.
Who replaced the planet.
He will
replaced the whore.
No. This is Shamash talking to Enkidu about Gilgamesh.
Right.
Now, Gilgamesh is your best buddy. He's going to put you on a grand couch. He will have you lie there in honor. He will seat you at ease.
Yes, but the topic is Shamhat.
Pardon?
The topic here is Shamhat, the harlot,
no,
not Gilgamesh.
She's done. She's finished. Right? And
yes,
she who allowed you to make beautiful Gilgamesh your comrade. Now, let's talk about Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh, he is your friend. He's going to take your body and lie it on a grand couch.
I think you're seeing a subject change before it's really necessary, before it's really appropriate.
Richard, please, read on.
Yes.
Now, Gilgamesh, your friend, I
can see it.
Will lie you on a grand couch.
Yeah. And then it goes right back to the people of the earth kissing your feet and the princes of the world.
So the princes of the world will kiss your feet. Next sentence, he will have the people, this is Gilgamesh, will have the people of Uruk go into mourning and moaning over you. Now this is Shamash talking to Enkidu about Gilgamesh. So Gilgamesh is telling the people of Uruk to go into mourning and moaning over you.
Yes, well, they will. He's not telling them to. He's saying he's predicting they will.
He will have the people of Uruk go into mourning.
No, you're right. That's a causation there. You're right.
So Gilgamesh is going to take Enkidu's body up to the temple, put it on his fancy chair in a place of honor, and then tell everyone in the city to mourn him.
Right.
So he's dead.
Right.
End of the story.
Not really.
Like it's just going to go in, right? We're on page 28. Page 28. We'll remember that.
This part right here, that one little piece right there it's just like they will mourn over you. They will repent of what they did. Even those who crucified him will cry over him. All of these things. Even those who, what's the line? Stabbed him with the spear or whatever.
It's just not making any sense in the timeline.
Pierced. That's the word, pierced. Those who pierced you.
Right. Questions from the chat. Have we any questions from the chat for Richard? I've got lots of questions. There's not another.
Someone's called himself Steve McRae Manager.
I see that.
What a great name. You can't
Although I'm not that
Steve
famous.
McRae, come on.
Richard's links are in the description, Steve. You should go check out his channel. Interesting.
Jonah Epstein. English is a Germanic language, much of it derived from Proto-Germanic, but with lots of influence from Latin and French. And we get words from Spanish, which actually came from Latin. Also, Italian, the same thing.
Richard, Dave
Hodgepodge language.
Dave wants to know: does time travel exist in your worldview, or your
time?
Could we say that your aliens are capable of time travel?
Well, depends on what time travel means. But if it means like
traveling back in time, going forward in time, having mastery of time.
I don't think that A or B theory of time would change the story significantly enough that I even think about it much. I'm more worried about being able to fold space.
Right.
Because in the Bible, there's a part that says heaven, big solid planet and moon-sized objects, roll up like a scroll. You can't, in the way I understand time space, you can't roll up planets into a scroll, but that's pretty much what's being described.
Question from Geosam: is Gilgamesh a type of window screen?
That's the best one ever, Geo. That was great. It's Gilgamesh. Yeah, Gilgamesh is it's a super strong window screen. It's Kevlar and titanium. Right on.
Oh.
It's cat proof. By the way, if you have cats, buy some Gilgamesh.
Right. Well, on that note, we will try and remember fucking page 27.
Page 27.
Yeah, I'm not relying on you for that
with
at all.
page 25.
No, we're not relying on you to remember that. Sorry, Richard.
No, well, let's make it. I'm gonna have to start going back to writing more stuff down.
Yeah.
That's all.
Get a wee diary. Write things down.
I mean, I'm 52 years old. I should just accept my brain doesn't do that sort of thing well. I should just accept it.
We all have our flaws. I have to write things down. I forget to.
Yeah.
So, Richard, that was a very interesting episode tonight.
You want to hear something really stupid? Like if I go to bed at night, this is really stupid. If I think about setting the alarm clock, I'll remember that I did set the alarm clock. Even if I hadn't, I just thought about doing it.
Yeah, well, you've got it into your routine. So you've got that memory already there of you doing it.
Right.
So, yeah, I can understand that. Well, I definitely enjoyed tonight's episode. It was thoroughly fun. We will be back here again on Sunday. This Sunday, I have Michael Curry, who you talk to.
Yeah, Michael, he's brilliant. I like his logic. I mean, I think he's really well-founded and speaks well.
I seen him first on yours and then on Empathics. I know very little about him, so it'll be a full-blown get to know you. Who are you? I know he's mainly on Facebook. We've Nick Suter coming up as well on Tuesday, I think. So, come back. We'll talk some more shite. We'll shout alien overlords a few times at Richard. And
right on.
Yeah.
Right on. I'm interested in Nick Suter's brain as well.
Yes, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I'm sure your conversation with Mike Carey will be nothing like my conversation with, and you guys will just have fun. Not that we didn't have fun, we did.
Yeah, Well, as I say, it'll be a whole get to know you. I'm not sure who he is. It's Facebook, so who does Facebook these days? But on that, everybody, thank you very much for coming.
And how do you do? And right on.
All the people in the chat, go and do all that YouTube stuff. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like, and all that stuff. And yeah, thanks everybody for coming. If I can find out where my mouse is, we will oink and out.